What's hacking? It's quacking. Welcome back to another episode. This time we're talking about end of summer pickups. Oh man, I've been pretty busy over the summer. Quite a lot of stuff to unpack here to show. Now, first and foremost, I went to some swap meets. This was kind of back in like August, July, something like that. But first off, I did get quite a bit of stuff there. I guess we'll first go over this PlayStation I got here, PlayStation 1. It's a pretty solid PS1. I checked it out. It did turn on. It came with the power cord. I will say though that the guy was unsure if they worked or not. He's like, hey, $15. Like, okay, I'll take a chance. I never actually had a PS1. It's a pretty big part of my childhood. I grew up with some games on it. I'm pretty sure Road Rash is one of them. Some other games I've yet to really discover, but that's kind of the joys of uncovering nostalgia with things. But hopefully I can get games like Road Rash and other things to, get that nostalgic feeling back. Then I also got some games. Now at this flea market, besides that PS1 actually came from a different one. This actually came beforehand. I got 6 games for $3 each. I'll show them off here. I'm pretty sure they're all complete in box, but we got Gran Turismo 4. We got Trigger Man. Now, I didn't realize this. I suppose I should have gave it away because it said online on here, but we got EverQuest Online Adventures. For understand, this is pretty obsolete, so I might just keep it as like a trade fodder thing or just kind of keep it on the shelf for fun. We got robots right here. I now have robots on the GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and PS2, so I'm pretty happy about that. Robots is a pretty special series to me. We got Tekken Tag Tournament. And then finally, a game that I was really on the lookout for. We have God of War 2 for the PlayStation 2, so I was pretty happy. And the final thing I got at that swap meet was this DualShock 4. Now the thing is though, the guy was saying how he change it out, make it look cool and stuff, and in turn, even these are like metal buttons and they don't really feel right whatsoever. He said that, and they make an interesting sound, but he said they don't work, the top ones, and I was like, you can still play games without this LR button, I guess you could say. I need another DualShock 4, so I was like, you know what, $3, I'll take it. I like fixing things, so that was pretty heckin' neat, I'll say. But then, same with the PlayStation, I went to another swap meet, got a whole bunch of different games. First off, I got Nintendo Land. I noticed that the disc was a little not great. Haven't checked this out yet, so I was like, you know what? I asked for 5, and he's willing to do 5. A friend of mine got a GameCube from him for like $65 with like no controller. I was like, yeah, it was higher than that. I'm glad he got it down in price, but I suppose it is what it is. This game's kind of, this one was kind of nasty. I found this in a sealed DVD area. Sometimes games get mixed in with swap meets, but this was 50 cents. Disney Sing It. It was a sealed PS2 game, 50 cents, and it goes for I think like $5. And I was like, you know what? Sealed PS2 game is sealed PS2 game, so I don't know, but it looked kind of dirty, not the greatest of quality, but I was pretty happy about that. And I did get some Game Boy Advance games. Just because I've been busy and everything's been moved around, I did misplace some stuff. I'm actually trying to see where the heck. Okay, here's one of them. These were they range in price, but this Spyro: The Eternal Quest for Game Boy Advance got right here. And then I also got Columns for $3. I was pretty happy about that. And looks like one more game. I remember this is Gran Turismo, yeah. We got Gran Turismo 3 as well, so I'm really building up my Gran Turismo series right there. But yeah, with that being said, then so after all that. I was pretty happy with most of the prices there. Going on forwards, though, the stuff that I got, the next thing I'm going to show was definitely my biggest highlight, but I had gripes with it because this is at a pawn shop. Pawn shops usually aren't in my area, and they're one that open up, and I had some people saying, like, oh, that wasn't a scam, what you dealt with. It definitely was feeling like a scam. So this right here is definitely the highlight. I got, finally, a PlayStation 3. I've been looking for one of these for years. In fact, I'd like to make a separate video about just how happy I am for the PS3. I can do all kinds of stuff, get games you aren't able to usually through the PS3, 3D Dot Game Heroes, Castlevania Chronicles, that's a PS1 game, it's a lot cheaper for PS3, it's only $6 digitally. And, things like God Hand, all kinds of expensive games you can now get for cheap. And I was happy because I got this with the power cord and a third-party controller for only $29. $29. Really, really happy about this. Now, it sure doesn't have the PS2 backwards compatibility, but I'm like, I already have a PS2, and the PS2 is kind of iffy with how quality issues and stuff with the system in general, but that definitely was my favorite pickup. Now, I rushed over as soon as I found out about the price. I asked them to hold it for me, and just an overall bad experience I had at this pawn shop, and I'm probably not going to go here again. Just because the prices weren't the greatest, and this experience it definitely turned me off in general. But so I called ahead, and then I went there, and there was someone ahead of me, even though I called ahead. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll let this one person. But then after that, this one person was there. They then let a second person in front of me, and she goes, oh, well, this person was ahead of me. And I'm like, what? Like, not only did I call ahead, but I was actually in line, before this person came in. So it was like, and the worst part is as well, he then makes an excuse saying like, oh, well, I'm the only person here. And I'm just like, you're doing trade-ins. I'm buying something with cash, mind you. And he lets these people do trade-ins that take half an hour each. And I was just like, you know what? It's $29. I suppose, everything has a cost with it. That's kind of the caveat. And finally, when I get up there after these half an hour waiting, the guy then goes, he does apologize for the wait. I just didn't say anything because, I was ticked at that point. But he then brings the PS3 up, and he rings it up, and he goes, I'm going to need to see your ID. And I'm like, what? I'm buying this with cash. He goes, I didn't know. And then after that, he's like, and then he says it's like $60. And I'm like, wait a second. Why is it $60? I thought you said $29 over the phone. Oh, well, a warranty. And I'm like, I didn't ask for a warranty. At least, I dislike GameStop a lot. Not as much as I like them, back then, but not now. But they at least ask you about the warranty. Sure, it's annoying, but they don't tack it on without your consent. This place tacked it on, and that is a scam. That is scummy. I don't care what anyone says. That is scummy. And this is like a mom and pop pawn shop, but it's like, that's definitely beyond scummy. So at least I was able to say no to the warranty. And I was able, I paid with cash. And then the guy proceeds to try to gaslight me about the warranty. This should show, again, them being scummy, because they said over the phone it worked. And he goes, oh, well, the PS3 only turns on for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, I don't really give a crap if I'm buying it as is or whatever. It's $29, and you said it works. So I'm like, I'll take my chances. So I got it home, checked it out. It works. I probably wouldn't even be showing you this video if it didn't work. But that was an awful experience with that pawn shop, I'll say. But was playing my PS3 for about 4 or 5 hours. Had just a ton of fun downloading games I already purchased through my Vita on the store. Looking forward to get all kinds of physical PS3 games. 3D Game Heroes is one of the main ones on my list. But I'm really excited just overall. But anyways, so then I went to a convention, Cleveland Gaming Classic. I did say these next things probably weren't the greatest here. But anyways, we're putting this other swap meet stuff away. So I went to Cleveland Gaming Classic, and last year it was pretty nice because I got to meet a buddy unexpectedly. This year, there was not YouTubers. They at least had Minus World last year. This year they did not. They had like Doug Walker, which is like, that has nothing to do with video games. Sure, there's affiliation with AVGN, but it's like, no. And they also had John Riggs. That should go to show just how great, the state of things are. But anyways, so I went there. First pickups I got, there was like a deal they had, and I got these for $10, and they also threw in another game. I got Quicks for the Game Boy and Pac-Man for the Game Boy, and I had all kinds of stuff I was looking for, just awful selection, awful prices. And I threw in this game without this label. Looks like it says Gobs of Games. I was looking for oddity things that were just out there. It's like, you know what? I love to see some strange experiences, so hopefully that's got something unique with it. And then after that, I then got a Wii for $20. It's got the GameCube stuff, and I was like, you know what, $20, that's pretty neat. I was looking for one to hack one, so I was like, I'm pretty happy about that as well. And then my final purchase, besides some like anime stuff, which I did get like this One Piece. I'm pretty sure this is the Gum Gum Fruit. I know there's some spoilers to One Piece stuff, but I got this. I thought it was pretty nice. $10, 3D printed. But then my last game pickup I got was God of War Ragnarok. Now it says $30 on here, but I was only haggled down to $25, and like even then, the guy who I was haggling with was like, "That, my friend's, a sealed game," and I'm like, "That's your argument?" To me, I could just walk away, but he knew I was gonna do that. It's like, you know what? I'll do that. And this price is like $26, $25 right now. Sure, there's no tax, no shipping and stuff like that when you buy things in conventions, but it's like. That was just pretty bad. It's like, I was looking for God of War Ragnarok, and I think it's solid. I'm starting to see Sony's having some pretty bad issues for Steam right now for Ragnarok, so I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I got it on PS4, but then I tried to get some other games that were on my list, like Wario Land 2, the black and white version, and it was $30, and they had it priced the same price. Now, it is priced the same price on charting for the colored version. They're both $30, and I'm like, I didn't use that as my argument. I should have, because it's pretty stupid how the black and white version, the inferior version, is as expensive as the color version. That makes no sense. So I then mentioned how the label was kind of messed up, because it was. And I also said about how I've got cash, I can get it right now. And the guy was like, "Oh, we're gonna do 25," and I'm like, "What? I'm gonna do 20, and I'm not gonna do no more than that." He goes, "Nope, sorry, buddy. You should see my Pokemon games. They're like off the labels." He was selling them for like $80, $90, Pokemon Red and Blue, and I'm just like, dude, like, no. And if you deal with sellers like that, just seriously walk away. Like, I'll be honest, they do kind of deserve disrespect, because that's bullshit. And I'll find some other seller, like for example, this PS3. I should say I've been looking one for a while, but I should say I've been looking one for a good price for a while. That is a steal. I was willing to spend $50 at most. I was thinking when I called up the pawn shop, and when I heard about 29, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm jumping on that deal right now, and I'm really glad it works. Even though I had all the issues, but I would like to make a separate video about Cleveland Gaming Classic as well, because it just wasn't a great experience this year. Really rude vendors, just. Like they mandatory charge parking, which is pretty BS. Bad guests overall, not really that interesting. It was pretty bland, and I kind of regret going, I should say. And they also shut the vending down early. I didn't see anything about that at all. They act like they're open till 11 p.m. Now they had to. Last thing I'll mention for end things off. The games they're showcasing had garbage light guns that weren't even working at all, like 90% of the time. And last year when I went, the arcade games were free play. They were included with your membership. This year they jacked the membership up during when things were happening. And I don't care what anyone says, that's dishonest practice. That's bull crap. And they then the arcade games they weren't free play. They actually costed money, and there was no coin machine to get coins. And I was like, well, I'll just play the games on the table, and they were just garbage light gun games for free that the light gun wasn't even working 90% of the time. So it's like, not really a great experience. You get some decent pickups, like I think the Wii's solid. The PS3, definitely my favorite. God of War Ragnarok, it's fine price-wise. Happy about the PS2 games. Happy about the DualShock 4. Everything else, like, I got some pickups. It just is what it is. But with that being said, then, looking forward to checking more swap meets. Maybe not so much pawn shops, and maybe more conventions. Hope you have a great rest of your night, day, time zone, whatever. Tell me some of your pickups maybe you got recently in the comment section. I'm gonna get going, and because I gotta go take a shit.